There had always been something unsettling about Ashwood Forest. Nestled on the outskirts of a sleepy town, the forest was a place of mystery and whispers. Locals avoided it, warning visitors about strange occurrences and the eerie silence that often fell within its dense woods. They told stories about people who entered the forest but never returned, or those who did, forever changed, claiming to have heard things, whispers that knew their darkest secrets and deepest fears. It was these very stories that drew Anna and Mark to the forest. Adventurers at heart, the couple thrived on exploring the unknown, pushing the boundaries of their comfort zones. They had traveled far and wide, hiking through remote mountains and spelunking in deep caves. Ashwood Forest, with its reputation for the supernatural, seemed like the perfect next challenge. "It's all just superstition," Mark said as they approached the edge of the forest, his voice filled with confidence. "People always come up with these ghost stories to explain things they don't understand." Anna wasn't so sure. She had always been the more cautious of the two, and while she loved the thrill of exploration, something about Ashwood made her uneasy. The trees loomed tall, their branches intertwining like skeletal fingers above them. The air was still, too still, and the forest seemed darker than it should have been for midday. "Maybe," she replied, adjusting her backpack, "but I think we should be careful. Just because we've never experienced anything supernatural doesn't mean it's impossible." Mark smiled, giving her a reassuring squeeze on the shoulder. "We'll be fine. It's just a walk in the woods." With that, they stepped into the forest. At first, everything seemed normal. The ground beneath their feet was soft with pine needles, and the occasional chirping of birds broke the silence. The path was narrow but well-trodden, suggesting that others had ventured here before. Still, as they moved deeper into Ashwood, an eerie quiet began to settle around them. The bird song faded, and even the rustling of the wind through the trees ceased. "I thought you said this place was supposed to be full of strange noises," Anna joked, trying to lighten the mood. "Seems like it's more silent than anything." Mark chuckled, though his laughter sounded hollow in the oppressive silence. "Maybe the forest knows we're not scared. It's waiting for us to show some fear." But as they continued, a soft, almost imperceptible sound began to creep into their awareness. It was faint at first, like the gentle rustle of leaves, but it grew more distinct the further they walked. It wasn't the sound of the wind or animals. It was whispering. Anna froze, her heart skipping a beat. "Did you hear that?" Mark stopped beside her, listening intently. For a moment, there was nothing, just the dense quiet of the woods. Then, ever so faintly, they both heard it again, whispers low and insistent, as though carried by the trees themselves. Mark frowned. "Probably the wind," he said, though he didn't sound convinced. Anna wasn't so sure. The whispers seemed too deliberate, too focused. She couldn't make out the words, but they felt intimate, invasive, like they were meant for her ears alone. She shivered and tightened her grip on Mark's hand. "Let's keep going. Maybe it's just the sound of the forest settling." They walked on, but the further they went, the louder the whispers became. The strange thing was, they didn't come from any one direction. Instead, they seemed to surround them, emanating from the trees, the ground, even the air itself. It was as if the forest was alive, speaking to them, knowing them,